Hello, my name is Maximus Emlana, and today I'm going to show you how to play Hidden Strike Cold War. Hidden Strike Cold War takes place during the 1945s to 1989s. The game allows you to experience the stress and subterfuge that controlled the political landscape of the time from the perspective of one of the two major powers, the USA and the USSR, where you will struggle, vie, fight, and lie to gain nuclear supremacy and dominance over the political landscape. The first thing we will be going over is the pieces and the amount of modes that are available in the game, as there are a great deal of them. So in this video, this is the single player or solitary co-op mode video. A secondary video will be made showing off Trader versus and Mastermind. However, we will explain them lightly in this video. Starting off, the modes of the game are Solitary, Co-op, Trader, Versus, and Mastermind. Solitary mode is fairly self-explanatory. Your goal is to take over the majority or tie in area control before the AI does. Co-op mode is similar to single-player mode, however, it can be played with 2 to 5 players, and all of your objectives are to play U.S. characters and take over as much territory as possible. Trader mode. This is a mode with a possible secret agent or traitor who's working for the KGB. And the victory for the USSR from the game means that you win. This would be something that would play normally, but there are small changes that the trader can do to be quietly messing up the game. In Versus, this is a very open and abrupt one where it's 2 players, where one player plays as the USA and one player takes over and plays as the USSR, and your goal is to beat the other one. In Mastermind, you're playing one USSR force against multiple USA forces. Your goal is to defeat the USA forces or get defeated trying. This is an open USSR force instead of hidden like in trainer mode. Like I said before, we'll be cutting solo and co-op in this mode. So next up, we will be going over the pieces and the board itself. So starting off with the board, there's a lot of information, a lot of bits on the board, and we'll be going over them kind of together. So starting off, you can see on the board, there are several countries listed with different numbers in the center of them. They follow Europe, Asia, Middle East, Central America, South America, and Africa. The numbers on the so to go over what each one represents, each one has a line in the center, a circle, and the name of the country, along with 2 different colors along each side. The blue side represents the USA, and the red side represents the USSR. Obviously, the name of the center means the name, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever number they have in the center represents their priority. The higher that priority of a nation, it means that whenever a card says affect the highest priority nation, or there is a tie between 2 nations, this breaks the tie and decides which one will affect which. At the top of each nation, you can see there is several little holsters on each one. Some of them are blue, and some of them are red. These are the local or regional influences. That term is more general. This is supposed to be the local forces that each nation has to exert over the area. Each one consists of a variety of different pieces with different values. The USSR has a fairly consistent one with the Middle East, with most countries having 4 pieces, with 1 green, 1 pink, and 2 yellows, with the exception being Europe. While the USA has has less, but a consistent statement of 2 light blue, 1 light blue, 1 dark blue, and potentially another bigger dark blue and a bigger white or blue of another color, another type. These are what you would use to conquer. These are pieces that you would be using to exert your influence over each one. Additionally, you can see the side of in the center where the main, where Central America, South America, and Africa are. You will see that they have USSR fleets and USA fleets. These are represented by the U-boats, and they cause certain effects when they are placed on those spots, blocking certain types of influence. To the top left, over by the USA, we can see a couple things. First off, the USA in general, you see embassies, air bases, missile bases, and proxy wars. These are various types of influences and can be called upon based on cards or by upgrading, going from 1 to 3. Embassy, airbase to missile bases. This is a mechanic we'll dive into as I'll demonstrate as we play the game. Above, you can see the new USA nuclear silos. This is where you would put this corresponding piece, the USA missile. These pieces would go here, and they would be brought up when you do either with a nuclear showdown, nuclear peace, or anything having to do with nukes. To the top left, over by where Alaska would be, you see a U2 base. This U2 base holds the U2 piece, which is used to scout out cards and what kind of nuclear bombs are inside the USSR silos. To the right, you can also see 3 subs. These are the subs you would deploy into the Gulf or the Central America, South America, or Africa USA fleets. Over to the right, where the USSR or Russia is, you can see a similar amount of icons, though you can see a similar type of icons, but they're different and have a different amount. So at the top, you can see influence, which are 1 points, air bases, same as before, and missile bases. And you can also see proxy war and communist cell is the caveat. So typically, this proxy war and communist cell are only used in specific modes. As you can see at the top, it says only used in versus mode and mastermind mode. And additionally, proxy wars are also only activated when certain effects go off or in certain modes. Over to the left, you can see the same similar USSR subs, the USA subs. They're used in the exact same way. Over here, you can see the USSR tank. This is a specific unit used when a certain card is drawn and an effect is drawn. Additionally, by Europe, you can see the Berlin blockade. When this place is filled, it causes Europe to have similar effects to what is the submarine, but only for the USA. At the very top of the board, you can see here is the space race. Space race goes from starts at 0 with all pieces, both of the USA and USSR space race tokens, which are little rocket ships, starting at 0, and then slowly making their way up to 6. As the USR and USA space race tokens tick up and up and up, certain cards will have secondary effects, and additionally, certain nuclear cards will also have secondary effects based on where they are on the chart. Over here to the right, when it reaches the end, no player can really move anymore can move up to the 6th spot, but the board is never truly locked. For the tiebreaker, over to the right, you can see the tiebreaker marker. The tiebreaker marker represents who wins ties or struggles when both sides are equal. By default, the USSR has the victory marker. However, the USA can take it through winning space race or getting a certain card or having certain effects on characters. Now we're going to start going over some of the cards. There are a lot of variety of small pieces and stuff like that, but we're going to go over those as we play, as it can get confusing to see what each one of these do. Though as a quick note, these markers over here are little flags. They just represent when a area has been settled, has been resolved. So going over cards first, we have the USA draw deck. The USA draw deck is where the US players will get their cards from. So each one of them has certain effects on them and certain abilities, and these are what the USA characters will be playing as their main actions throughout the game. Complementarily so, there's a draw and a discard pile. Complementarily so, there is a USSR draw pile. These cards have a name, a location of activation, a description of what they do, the point at the bottom representing how many points the thing that they're giving is worth, at least on its average usage value, and additionally a secondary effect, which can be found in the legend over here, that takes effect when the card is played but not discarded. These are effects and explanations we'll go into more detail as the game goes on. Next, we have the Communist Cell deck. The Communist Cell deck is only used in Versus, Mastermind, and Trader mode. So unfortunately, in this case, we won't be going over the deck. However, this deck would be drawn and played in those specific modes, and we will be going over those in the different video. At the top here, we can see the Nuclear Weapons Production deck. Nuclear Weapons Production deck, you draw. There are a variety of different cards. There's either decoy cards, as you can see I'm drawing them all right here. There are 4 decoy cards in the deck. And then to the right, you can see that there are actual nukes inside, or quote unquote actual nukes inside of it. These nukes are what you would use to compete in stuff like nuclear showdowns, arms races, nuclear treaties, and yeah, against nuclear arms races with America. Their abilities vary based on where the space race is. Moving on to the player deck. The final deck in the game, barring the ideology deck, which is also used for the uh, trader mode, and is not really relevant, unfortunately, for this mode, so we won't really be going over it, but it would be used in the trader or versus modes, potentially. For the player-controlled deck, though half of these cards are not usable in the single or cooperative mode, um, the general statement with these are these, whether they're USSR or they're USA, each one of these cards is specifically meant for the players to be drawn in the single player mode, and the only solitary mode card is the POTUS card. This card is meant to be used when you are playing the solitary mode and only the solitary mode. In co-op or trader mode, you would be using these the 5 cards in this deck, which consists of Homer, Stanley, Hicks, Johnson, and Lizzets. These 5 would be flipped over, shuffled, and then randomly drawn by each of the 5 players until everyone has a card. Everyone gets 1 character, and that would be your character for the game. In solitary mode, there is an artificial difficulty where you can either remove the POTUS card and take one of these cards instead, or you can completely remove the POTUS card and only use no character cards. Character cards and their actions are free, so you do not have to pay an action cost unless it specifically says so. These cards over here are used in either Versus, Mastermind, or Trader mode, so we will not be going over their abilities, or will be investigating them. The Trader mode cards and the co-op cards we will be going over in the setup phase. That's coming next. We're going to take the POTUS card as a representing card for the single player mode. So POTUS has these abilities, and we'll go over them as they become relevant in the game. And then additionally, we're going to be drawing our first set of cards. So as I said before, the US player gets 3 cards starting out and continues to maintain the 3 set of cards at the beginning of each new round unless a specific effect occurs and stops that. Additionally, we're going to draw the first USSR card. Before activating the card, one thing to go over is the exact goal of the game. Your goal is to get 8 points on your side of the board. You want to have a majority. In this case, I'm playing the USA, so blue would be my side. I want to get 8 USA pressure points on my side with a leading of 2. If I reach 9, however, and the enemy and the USSR also has 8 or has 9 and is tied with me, the points can go on infinitely. So the question of the game is, how much do you want to invest before you realize that something is a waste of potential, or that your resources should be diverted elsewhere? Additionally, for this, you want to find a way to capture more than 4 or more areas in order to win. However, you can tie if both sides get 3, as there are only 6 areas to get. The USSR win if it has majority, and the USA wins if it has majority. Otherwise, ties will occur, or if the cards run out on both sides of the deck, the game will also end. So, starting the first turn, we've drawn the card over here. Now, we've drawn the first USSR card, so our goal is to read out what it does. So, airbase. Deploy in the region not currently blockaded where the USSR is closest to losing or least ahead by points. So going over 2 things, when something is blockaded, this means that there is a submarine of the opposing faction, and the other faction, so in this case, in this option, the USA has a sub, but the USSR doesn't have a sub, which means that outside influence cannot be placed here. And it would be the same if a USSR sub was placed here, but a USA sub was not. If both subs are placed, then both factions can place their cards as they want. This is only circumvented if the card explicitly says so. In this case, nothing is blockaded, so this card is cards relevant is not blocked in any spot. Additionally, it says deploying the region not currently blockaded or close to losing. Because all regions are tied, and this is the first turn, Europe has priority, so therefore the airbase would be deployed in Europe. So the USSR starts off with 2. There's additionally a U2 ability starting at the bottom. So if we had played a card on the previous turn, and the U2 was indeed searching over the nuclear silo, it would be shot down, and I would have to get rid of one card in my hand and put it at the bottom of my deck. Fortunately, none of that has occurred, so I will not. So to start my turn, I will play look at, and if desired, regard the top 5 cards USR direct or create an embassy. So many cards will have an option of either creating embassy, which is worth 1 point, or taking whatever their desired effect are. I'm going to take the this card, MI6, and place it here. So plus side with this is that additionally at the bottom, the civil rights are enacted. So this is a mechanic I did not go over, but it was going to go over now. So civil rights, the way they act is that when you have something called a race riot card, you must play it immediately when available. And this card basically steals your turn as you only make 1 action a turn. Additionally, if civil rights are not enacted, whenever you use whenever a decolonization point is put in, an additional influence is pulled in for the USSR faction, causing you to take even more of a penalty for this. Once civil rights is enacted, those influence points stays, but further decolonizations do not occur. Further decolonizations do not increase. Don't go from being 2 to adding 3 influence instead. Additionally, once this is enacted, it does not have to be enacted again. On top of this, I have 1 embassy, so I'm going to place my embassy here in Asia, and that will be my turn. So now we draw again for the USSR, and I'm going to draw 1 more for my turn. So the USSR, Cuban Missile Crisis. Place a USSR missile base in the North Atlantic. If there is no US blockade by the beginning of the turn, the next USSR turn, the missile base is deployed in the Central America conflict zone. So here's the USSR. So it would go right here in the center. And if I do not place a blockade here, then this will be deployed. If I do, then it will be discarded. So now it is my turn. Region Middle East. I'm going to play this card for the UN Coalition. So I'm now currently at a 2 on Asia. Additionally, as I said before, I can now deploy the U2 if I want to. I'm going to draw a new card. So flipping over this card, so now it is the USSR's turn again. Um, yep. So now, because it's the next turn, additionally, there is a missile at the bottom of this one. So the USSR draws 1 card from this deck and adds that to their silo. So what everything is, we'll find out whether it's a decoy or not a decoy. We are playing on the easy difficulty. Based on the difficulty you have, you remove the amount of decoys, going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 0. 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 0, based on how difficult you want it to be. Additionally, now we've drawn another one, so another nuclear silo is dropped. And additionally, Chinese retrieve 1 USA point of strength if possible. The USA may not deploy any strength points to or remove any USSR points from the Asian conflict zone in the current time. So unfortunately, we lose we lose 1 influence, which would be our embassy. This missile base is deployed in Central America, and that is the USSR turn. So now it is my turn again. I am going to yeah, play a proxy war in Europe. So proxy war, increase the victory condition in the place I put it on by 1. So this is one of those cards that increases the minimum victory condition. So now if I put it in somewhere like, for example, I'm going to put it in Asia, Asia goes from needing 8 to needing 9 victory points to win by default. Which means I go up by, I now have 5 out of 9, so I need 4 more points, and I would take it as long as I'm winning by 2. Um, Additionally, some cards can't be deployed in certain areas, so this war explicitly states cannot be placed in Europe. I'll draw myself a new card, and the next turn takes off. There is no effect on that card, so nothing else happens. USA Air Base. That's what I was talking about with this one. So unfortunately, this is shot down. And I must now take one card in my hand and put it at the bottom of my deck. So I'm going to take this card. And for the effect, we will scroll over here. All right. And here's so if the U2 had made it through though, on this turn, if the U2 hadn't been shot down, I would have had the ability to look at the top card on the deck. So here's the whole thing. If the U2 is not shot down, the player who played the U2 may look at any USSR nuclear weapon cards in the silo, but only one. All other cards must remain face down. This card may be placed anywhere the active player wishes in the USSR silo deck. U2 is then returned to base. Yeah. Yeah, basically you can play this so if there are two cards in the deck, I can basically move this card and go, I want to see the second card at the bottom, or I want to see the third card, and so on and so forth. But I can't flip over the cards and see which one I want to see because I know them all. And this can happen in unlimited amount of times, provided you're not shot down each time. So another air base is thrown. So in this case, deploying the region currently not blockaded where the USR is most behind. So that would be Asia in this case. So the Asia gets 2, and the effect of shooting down the U2 already occurred. So in this case, I can actually discard this card, which means I lose the effect here and the option to create an embassy with it, but I can remove the airbase that was just placed, put it back. So now that is a piece I do not have to worry about. And additionally, now that my turn is over, I will draw 2 more. As your hand is always supposed to be 3. So next up, we're drawing another USSR. Coup. Remove 2 USA points from an unresolved region where the USA is winning. If tied, defer the highest. So unfortunately, in this case, I lose my UN coalition piece. So UN coalition pieces here, here, all the ones that are local forces. When they are removed, you can effectively take them out of the game. As the way they operate is that they can't be used again, as only one card in the deck activates that piece, or activates one of the 2 versions of it. In the case of stuff like regional influence. Um, yeah. I'm going to play this. And I'm going to blockade South America. And additionally, my U2 goes off. I'm going to blockade that. So now, yeah, that is my turn. Additionally, at the bottom, -2 USSR points in Asia. Unfortunately, there are no points in Asia. So Asia does not lose. It doesn't affect the USSR. And here is the points for, here's one. Soviet, Scion Soviet split. Remove 2 USSR points from Asia. Active player chooses which 2. All right. So now next turn. Decolonization. This is the card I was referring to in terms of decolonization, where these cards are used. Central America decolonization. Special ability. Draw and deploy an additional card. So this is played. So Central America is now sitting at a cool 5 influence, and additionally the space race goes up by 1. Additionally, the special ability of this card is it draws another card and plays it. This can stack infinitely, by the way, and there are a certain amount of them in the deck, but it can get pretty bad. Now, for Asian regional influence, North Vietnam. So, if Asia is resolved, keep this card face up for 1 turn or do nothing. There are certain conditions where, if it is resolved, this will be different. The influence will be diverted to the area that has the most, or is both unresolved and has the highest amount of USA points. So in this case, the Asia is not, so the regional influence will be placed there. Additionally, another USR missile silo will be drawn. Yeah. So on my turn, I'm going to go. Let's go with this. Middle East. Regional military. I'm going to give myself a missile. So now I have 1 missile in my silo. And additionally, the Middle East gains one of its regional influences. Oh, wrong one. next up, we're going to keep doing this. The game can go pretty fast once you know what you're doing and how to do what each effect is, as you're just going back and forward with the game, especially making choices and quickly making trades. Proxy war. Deploy in the region currently blockaded where the USSR is closest to losing or at least ahead by points. Priorities are from highest to lowest numbers, conflict zones. So 2 to 6. Cannot deploy in Europe. Increase the victory condition in placed region by both sides by 1. So 3. The USSR, so this means that one of these proxy wars would be deployed in this case in Europe, in Asia. Or actually, no, it would be in the Middle East. So here's the case I was talking about. So both sides are actually behind by 1, but because Asia has a higher priority, it is actually deployed into Asia. So now Asia has a minimum win requirement of 10. Additionally, at the bottom, you see if USSR is tied or behind in Europe, move the Tang token to its space until resolved. This is worth 1 plus 1 to USSR. So the way this would work is if the USSR was behind or tied with me, then this tank would deploy in and give them +2 to the win condition, but also give them +1 point. However, I am behind, so this is not deployed. Play. I'm going to try and go up in the space race. So the reason you would want to take something like the space race, and this is where I'll talk about it a little bit, getting into orbit is usually where a lot of especially nuclear silo cards and player cards have special effects if you're at between 4 and up. However, if you get the first person to reach 6, has the tie marker and wins ties. And this is a permanent effect for the rest of the game. In this game, we'll be going down to 20. We'll be going through 20 cards, explaining as many of the rules as possible. Any rules or events that do not occur, I will specifically pull out, and hopefully we will get through every point in this. So for the airbase, again, the airbase is deployed in the region that is not currently blockaded by the USSR is closest to losing or is least ahead in points. So, and again, it shoots down my U2, which I did not play last turn, but I did forget to do the effect for. The plus side with this, so this is what I was saying before with getting to see the deck, so I'm going to ignore this card right now. So I can look at either one of these two cards. I'm going to look at this one. So here's what I was talking about in the space race. So currently this adds 1 to the nuclear stockpile, but if the USSR is 3+ in the space race, then this is worth 2. So an important feature about the space race is that regardless of whether you make it to 6 or not, the space race can increase all the way up to 5 for both factions no matter what. In this case, there's no U2 to shoot down, so the U2 effect doesn't do anything, and the airbase will be deployed in the Middle East. Hmm. Hmm. Cards are not really in my favor today, I'll tell you what. And then I'm going to grab another missile for my silo. So normally what I want to do is I want to be discarding cards if I don't really think I can use them or they're too specific. The unfortunate part about this case is that I do not have what are embassies on the area. Yeah, and I don't have any 1 point influence. So if I had regional influence, I could do it in the Middle East, but that's not where I want to. Currently having as much tension. I would want to have either this regional influence or this regional influence, this regional influence or an embassy in this area, and I could discard 1 card and upgrade it to be an air base, and then 2 more to be a missile base. So now it is the USSR's turn to draw again. Once again, another air base. In this case, the least behind, so this would be winning by 1. This is winning by 1. This is winning by 2. So it would be between Europe and the Middle East, and because once again Europe has the higher priority, the airbase is here, but there is another airbase, so the special ability kicks in, and this airbase becomes a missile base. Now, no, when pieces run out, the pieces are out. That's it. So if you have a certain amount of pieces, you can only do so many pieces. And additionally, if an air base is needed to transition into a military base, missile base, and you don't have air bases, or the USSR doesn't have air bases, that means that the transition cannot occur. It is the same thing if you do not have influence or embassies to stack up and grow to it. Hmm. So in this case, I'm going to play this. I'm playing a very defensive game, unfortunately, and it is not the move in some regards. So one thing that's important to know about in this game is when to cut your ties and move to another region. Sometimes you'd want to go for stuff like South America and Africa first, just because they're the lowest in the priority. And if something along the lines of what is a nuclear showdown occurs, or a nuclear arms race, then you kind of have to worry about getting shown up. And instantly losing that area, as the USSR, if they win certain things, instantly take a region regardless of the regional influence. So yeah, I'm going to play Coup, which removes 2 influence from an area. I'm going to remove... Hmm, I'm going to remove this 2 regional influence from Asia and Thai Asia, and then pull this back. All right, and then I got my other missile. I should have... Yeah. All right, cool. I have my 3 missiles. Unfortunately, I didn't use the embassy, so I don't get this one. Oh, actually, I don't get the missile here. So like I said, I discarded this card. Or no, I didn't discard this card. Yeah, I just get to keep it. It's Lexia kicking it hard. All right, next I'm going to draw this. So regional influence, Middle East regional influence, Palestine. If Middle East is resolved, keep this card. So as it says, with regional influences in the area, this is that way they can be deployed in areas where they otherwise would be useless. Otherwise, these are dead cards. So we're going to deploy this in the Middle East. And they're going to pull another nuclear silo card. I'm going to play this. Hmm. So here, so at the bottom, we have a new icon that we haven't shown before. So this would be the airdrop. If Berlin blockade is in effect, an airdrop card removes it. So when Berlin is blockade, like I said before, similar to when one of these is blocked by a sub, you have to draw this card to remove the blockade. So to represent that the blockade is occurring, you'd place this here. Once you drop this, the blockade is removed until it is enacted again. Unfortunately, there is no blockade, so that effect is useless. Additionally, I'm discarding it, so I don't want the effect from this. Or I'm not discarding it. I'm playing this for the embassy, so I do get the effect, but I wouldn't want to. And additionally, if you were to discard this, it wouldn't matter in this case because I'm not using it. So I'm going to take one of these and put this here. I'm going to draw a new card. Influence deploy in a blockaded region. Central America, Africa, South America, or Africa, where the USSR is close to losing or at least ahead. So this is the situation I'm talking about, where it is specifically telling you to deploy in a blockaded region. In this case, whereas winning by the least would be South Africa, and that's implying priority, as it's winning by 5. So USSR is winning by 5 here, so it's not behind, and less behind than it would be in both South America and Africa. And because South America is 5/6, South America wins. And additionally, it's blockaded. So that's their turn. And additionally, the same effect here. If it's tied or behind in Europe, you deploy the tank. There is not. So I'm going to play a coup. Yeah. And remove another 2 USSR points from airbase right over here. South America, regional influence. So another missile base. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to discard. I'm going to play the South America card. Let me see. I'm actually going to discard my South America card so I can increase this from an embassy to an airbase. And then my plan on my next turn is to use my scientist to increase it to a missile base. They're just pulling all the nukes. If they ever get a showdown, I lose. Um, Europe regional influence. So what is that? That's 3, 5, 6, 7. Oh boy. So Europe is currently at +1 to win. It would be really nice if this was there. And I pulled regional influence. 2 points from any all unresolved region. Coop. I'm going to play this, like I said. And I'm going to increase this to a missile base. So currently the Middle East is a hit. Africa regional influence. That would be deployed here. Alright, so in this case, we get something called Nuclear Treaty. Players remove one of their nuclear missile tokens from their silo, and the top card from the USSR silo deck. There's no exchange of only one side. So I would remove one missile, and the hope is that in this case, we would remove a very big deal card. It is returned back to the deck, not discard from the game. That is a different card in effect. This is a big one, Diplomatic Outreach. Very useful. I also get to use my U2 again. I can take a look at some of those cards. I can put 2 embassies out. I'm going to put 1 in Asia and 1 in the Middle East for now. Pulling up another one. Submarines. So submarines are automatically sent. It says submarines are automatically sent to counteract other submarines. So this area is no longer blockaded. And additionally, the blockade begins in Europe. So I can't deploy anything in Europe if I wanted to without having the previous card I showed you. All right, so regional influence. Some regional influence cards are open, so you can just put any. You can just use them anywhere. Additionally, I have a space race, so I'm going to play that. So I can deploy the regional influence from Asia in this case. And now Asia is at what, 5? Yep. And I'm at 4 on the tracker. I'm at 2 on the tracker for the space race, which is putting me further up to where I want to be. All right. Ambush. When drawing this card, immediately select 1 card from your hand and place it at the bottom of the draw deck. That is very okay with me, because I did not want to use this one. No. I'm actually going to... I'm going to put this one back. Nah, actually, I'm going to put you at the bottom. Yep. So this effect goes to the bottom, and then I draw a new card on my next on the next turn. And additionally, they gain back a silo. So cool. I'm going to play another regional influence, and I am going to place that in the Middle East, and go up 1 more in the race. Yeah. Asia regional influence, that goes here, and another nuclear card here. So in this case, I could deploy what is Afghanistan, which gives me +2 points in the region. However, it would also increase the victory condition by 2. So already the victory condition is at 10. However, if I increase it by another 2, it would go to 12, which is also the default setting here. This gives me +2 on the setting, but basically sends me to net neutral. It does put these these pieces further behind though. So I'm currently at what, 5 in total. If I got this, it'd be at 6, 7 out of 12. Hmm. Additionally, my U2 procced, so I can go to the deck and look at a card. I'm going to look at what this card was. Increases to an USR, so I'm going to put this at the very top of the deck. I'm going to play this. which is going to move me up by 1. And additionally, so this card, what it allows to do is regional force pull. It allows me to pull out of another region. So, for example, Europe. I don't plan on really investing in Europe, and I can put it in somewhere else. So in this case, I'm going to be putting it in the, let's put it in the Middle East. Actually, no, let's put this right here in Africa. And that will be my turn. So it didn't matter what I wanted to do with Afghanistan because Vietnam was drawn. So Vietnam gives them plus 2 points. It's similar to Afghanistan. When it's drawn, this is a permanent chip. It can't be removed. It acts like the USSR tank, which when the USSR tank, when the Vietnam or Afghanistan pieces are deployed, the victory condition goes up permanently and is not removed by remove 2 points from this region. So Vietnam, they have a permanent +2 basically in this region. So they go from 5 to 6, 7. So they're about equal. They're equal with me, or they're ahead of me actually now. Damn. Mm. I might as well play this now. I'll lose nothing by doing it. So I gain +2, so we're back to being equal again. That's my turn. So Central America region influence Cuba. If Central America is resolved, keep this. Yeah. So Central America. Let's see. So it goes up by 2 more, which means 5, 6, 7. So 1 more point, and they take Central America. Additionally, the peace nuclear treaty is reached, so I'm going to lose 1 missile, and they are going to lose 1 missile. I'm going to discard this card. I'm going to convert this from what it is into an airbase. Alright. Erase deploying the region where this further behind. In this case, it would be Asia. Or actually, no. In this case, it would be Middle East. So the Middle East gains an airbase. And additionally, they shot down my U2, so I have to get rid of 1 card at the beginning. I'm going to put this USS submarine at the bottom of my deck. And I only have NATO. I'm going to play this. This removes the blockade here. And additionally, I'm going to remove 2 points from here. So I'm going to remove this airbase once again. Actually, I'm going to remove the regional influence here. So that's permanently gone. Actually, no. So there are cards that allow you to move. There's a card that allows you to take the regional influence from an opponent. So sometimes you don't want to get rid of the regional influence and you want to leave it. So that way that effect can occur on an area you want it to be. So I got Japan Airbase, nice, and CIA, nice. So influence deploying to blockaded region, Central America, blah blah blah. Where it's close to losing or at least ahead. In this regard, it would be Africa, as it is only ahead by 1, so 1 influence here. Africa's now at 3. I'm going to play Airbase Japan, which shoots me up another 2. So currently, I'm at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 2 more points, and I take Asia with a point total of 12. That is provided I'm still maintaining a 2-point lead. As I said before, it doesn't matter how many points you go up to as long as if you don't win by a 2-point lead or if you reach the win limit and you have the tiebreaker, you win automatically. So if both sides hit 12, I would win the tie. Though I would only win if I had this. Right now, Russia wins if we reach a tie. Or the USSR in this case. If Europe is resolved, keep this card. So Europe, regional influence. I'm pretty sure that busts Europe. So that's 5, 6, 7. Yep, 8, 9. Um, yep. So the USSR is taking Europe. So now Europe is no longer on the table, And unfortunately, if a nuclear showdown were to go down, so now the priority is reduced. So now Asia has the highest priority and is the one that they're losing by the most. Additionally, another silo missile is drawn. I really did want to get this Radio Free Europe out of there before Europe was gone. Mm. Going to play this. The effect in here is now basically dead because Europe is taken. So I'm going to move one embassy over to here. Whew. All right. An airbase is deployed where the USSR is most behind. Unfortunately, this is here. Um, so currently it's what, 4? It's 11 to 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So as long as I get one more point in there, I win. I win the area. I win the region. So next would be here. Belgium, you remove all missile bases in Europe. If no missile base removed, shoot very impossible. If you ignore this card, if Europe resolves. So unfortunately, this would have been extremely useful 2 turns ago. But this is unused. This is a dead card. But this does mean that no effects take place here. Hmm. I'm going to play this and move once again another embassy into Asia. That makes Asia 12, and I am still ahead by 2, so I take Asia. And additionally, because of the effect I have on POTUS, I can play another card this turn. So in this regard, and I can take 2 points from any resolved region. I also gain a missile here. So I'm able to take 2 points from any resolved region. I'm going to take the airbase I have, and I'm going to move it here to the Middle East, which then sends Middle East. So this is 2, 4, so 2, 4, 8. So I'm at 8, so I automatically take the Middle East. Nope. Very big double secure. But this allows me to have like very much priority on these 2 regions and allows me to focus all my attention on either Africa or South America, which are 2 places I am very much behind in. And then because of this, I also get to play my last card. Actually, in order, I'm actually going to play. I'm actually not going to resolve. I have to resolve it, then I can't. From an unresolved region. Well, the unfortunate part about this is I can't do anything with it. I just realized. You know what? Actually, I'll leave the Middle East. Well, these points actually to here, so that will do me better. Yep. And that will end my turn. So I draw 2 cards. Now it is the USSR. Proxy War. Deploy in a region currently blockaded, where the USSR is close to losing or at least ahead by points. So that would definitely be Africa. So Africa gets another. So it's 2, 3. Yeah, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2 Proxy War. Cool. Alright. See what I got here. Says 3 on the spacer. Discard, remove 2 nuclear weapons from the top of their silo or create an embassy. Alright. So I'm going to play this. I am at least at 3, so I remove 2. Actually, I have to discard this, and that wouldn't make me go further up on the silo. So I'm just going to take the point here, and I'm going to create an embassy in the Middle East. So the Middle East is currently at what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one more point allows me to take the Middle East. So this effect is a dead one due to the fact that the EU is already taken, and I have submarines. So the submarine, unfortunately, will be deployed based on priority. Will fortunately be deployed by priority. So Central America is blocked off, which means I cannot deploy outside influence into Central America. However, that is so I'm going to play this card, which allows me to take from any other regional force pool, and I have full faith in the fact that this is going to fall apart in but a moment. Um, And I'm going to take that, bring it here to the Middle East, and now I will have conquered the Middle East. And because of this, I can now play this. Um, I can now play my submarine. Hmm. 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 I don't want to do this. That's kind of painful. Yeah, I'm going to play this. And I'm going to add a submarine to over here. Make it more difficult for them to do anything here. And additionally, I'm going to get another missile. So nice. I got 2 missiles, right. Cool. And that is my turn. Yeah. This is where military momentum, POTUS's biggest ability, which is after you resolve after you resolve an area, immediately play a card and draw back. So I always go back up to 3. Yeah. Central America, paramilitaries. So they go up 1 in the space race. And Central America gets paramilitaries. So Central America is now resolved, as this is more than enough, and it's taken by the USSR. So currently it is a tied game where the USSR has 2 and I have 2. I should be able to take Africa. The question is if I can take South America or not. I'll actually just finish the game out here because why not? It's almost done. And with this, I've taken the space race. So now, if a tie breaks out, I win the ties. However, the USSR can keep moving up in points. So regional influence, I get to move 1 regional influence. I'm going to move that into... Yeah, I'm going to move that into Africa. Unfortunately, I kind of have to focus all my energy in Africa. Um, yeah. And that's my turn. I'll go here. Africa, paramilitaries. Oh, this is unfortunate. So I have, what, 3? This is 4. That's 4. Oh, no. Oh, well, that sucks. Africa is now resolved. Well, that's... Oh, wait, no. Proxy war goes up by 1, so it needs 9. So I'm... currently, Africa is at 8 on the USSR side, and I am behind... I'm at, what, 4? Yeah. I'm behind by 4 in total, so this is going to be a very big... I need to catch up. Airbase UK. Wow, that is a dead card. And CIA. I'm gonna take both of these, discard them both, upgrade this airbase to a missile base. Unfortunately, in this case, this is what I meant with dedicating a lot of resources to one area. If I had spread my resources out, I potentially could have done a little bit better, especially with Asia being the way it was. And it would have allowed me to have a better grasp on everything else. Unfortunately, if you hyper focus, you will get messed up a lot. Oh, and additionally, they gain another missile. Oof. Africa, decolonization. Oh, and like that, Africa explodes like a pop watermelon. Um, yeah. And they go up 1 in the space race. So unfortunately, Africa is now taken by the USSR. And I have very few hopes of taking South America before they can. Especially since they're drawing another card. Oh, Middle East. The Middle East is resolved. So this doesn't do anything. But they do go up another again in the space race. South America. Exactly what I was worried about. So they're currently at 5 in South America, and they go up again in the space race. They cannot get to 6 now, so the space race doesn't move anymore. Yep. This is a dead card. However, the fact I do lose a card, I will happily get rid of Race Riots. So the way the Race Riots card works is that when you draw the Race Riot cards, it actually disables your turn, and you must play this card. While these exist, and you haven't activated Civil Rights, this is what happens when the decolonization adds an additional influence. And there are 2 of these cards in the deck, 2 to 3 of these cards in the deck, and they do stack. So, put my CIA card. I'm really far behind right now. My only hope right now is I can tie, or wear out the decks and the cards in the deck, which would still result in a loss. Yeah. Oh, now I get a proxy war. Damn it, that would have been so useful earlier. Europe Air Base. Yeah, highest priority up, and there it goes. I think, yeah. So what? That's no, wait, that's 6-7. So 1 point behind. So one air base is deployed right here into South America, final region. I would play this proxy war, which increases the victory condition by 1 and gives me 3 points in South America. So now it needs 9 there. Whoop. Fortunately, I think only air bases really exist in here. Coop. Move 2 from. Yep. Oh wait, it's 2 SCA. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't have 3 I only have 3 points, so that goes to the win. There goes my proxy war. Um. Hmm. This game can be very punishing if you don't play correctly. I'm going to play this and actually steal 2 ESSR points. Specifically, I'm going to steal the regional influence that they have. Or actually, I'm going to steal the decolonization points they have, bring that as mine. And that is my turn. There's space race is relevant now. African regional influence. You may convert the airbase. Unfortunately, I can't do that. So yeah, I can use this to create an airbase. Create an embassy. Oh, additionally, yeah. Yeah. So this card goes over here, face up, and Africa's regional influence goes onto it. On the next turn, which it is now, it is deployed into the region with the highest priority. So, unfortunately, this plays first, which would indeed resolve the region. Nope, which would indeed put the region there, but doesn't matter. It puts us both back in the same position and removes 2 points, which I will choose to be the airbase. At least this way I don't get completely screwed over. Alright, 3 point bonus, and this card is now used as well. There's no other effect on here. I'm going to draw my extra card. Proxy War once again. Now, last Proxy War is deployed. I'm now somewhat back in this. We are at the last 8 cards, last 9 USSR cards. Deployed blockade region somewhere. Yep. So the only region that can be deployed, 1 influence deployed in here. So if another 2 points is deployed, oof, airbase is would have been real nice earlier. Replaces with an airbase. I'm now at 5. I'm going to draw one of these. Play this. And here's where I think I lose. So, we have a nuclear showdown. Reveal the USR nuclear cards. If they are higher in total number than the USA, the lowest number, i.e., the highest priority, unresolved region, not under U.S. blockade, is automatically lost. If U.S. is higher, the totals are level, nothing happens. So I have 5 nuclear missiles. I can say without a doubt I lose this. So 1. So that's 0. That's 2 because they're +3 in this space race. That's 4, which causes 6. Is it decoys? That's 2 decoys. That's 3, and I lose it. So, uh, yeah. Uh, woof. There's not really much I could do there. If it was a nuclear race, draw the card from the top of the USA deck. I might have had it. I would have had a chance because I drew decoy first. But unfortunately, this totals out to 4, 8, 6, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14 to my 5. And this means that the USSR takes Central America or South America. And this unfortunately results in the USSR taking the game. Now, in this game, there are many things I could have done better. I could have done worse. Um, However, this is the example of how the solo version of the game would go. So major differentiating factors for co-op versus the solo version is there's only really one, which is the fact that everyone would have different cards. So no one would have POTUS, but everyone would have one of the 5 cards I showed earlier of the other players for trader or cooperative. And additionally, they would take turns in order. And these turns, so each person would have 3 in their hand. You draw, you'd play. So the deck would likely go away a little bit faster, but the play combos would vary dramatically. Additionally, in the trader mode, certain effects are changed. All right, well, I thank you all for showing up and watching this. The only 2 effects I realized we haven't gone over were the Sezu Crisis, remove 1 unit from the Middle East, active player's choice, and like I said before, the Nuclear Arms Race, so the way that would operate is that I would draw, if I had a deck, let's say this is the first card, I draw the first one, I see what it is, it's 2, if I have 2 nukes in my silo, I win, so it's a tie, or I win or tie as long as I have 2 or more, and this goes back, and nothing happens. And additionally, the only thing that didn't end up happening, but I did show and explain, was the decolonization and the Civil Rights Act. Plus, this has been, other than that, thank you. This has been Hidden Strike Cold War with Max Lana. I want to thank Professor Suckling once again, and I hope to see you guys in the next video about the Trader and Mastermind modes. Trader versus Mastermind modes.
Mobilmachung gegen die Sowjetunion!